It's hard to imagine a Mr. Olympia that can't sit on the abs. And it's just, okay, that guy has a great ab pose.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So this is the poster that is being marketed for this year's Miss Olympia. The rematch between Derek Lunsford and Hadi. I think Samson and Andrew Jack, they would have a few words to say about this one. Because none of these guys, they are showing up here to lose. Or showing up here to place behind both these guys. Because this is Miss Olympia. And everyone wants that first place. Not to mention that big paycheck. So in a way that is kinda unfair to some of the other top pros. Because from this poster it seems like that the Pro League has already made up their minds that we are gonna see the same number 1 and number 2 as we have seen in the last couple of years. And yes, I know a lot of us, we have Hadi and Derek fighting for the top spot anyway. But the thing is, we are the fans, and this is the Pro League we are talking about. So the thing that makes Hadi and Derek so damn good, even though both these guys have been in the 212, and yet they have been so damn dominating, even in the men's open class, for the last 2 years, is their consistency. You can bet neither Andrew Jack nor Samson are gonna beat Hadi or Derek, from conditioning perspective. And it is what it is. We have seen that happen so many times now. I do however wanna give a shout out to TFE Media. Those guys are there covering almost every major show. And they must have seen a glimpse of Samson and how he has been looking today to post that on their story. The reigning 212 Olympia champion Keone dialing it in with his coach Patrick Tour just a couple of days before this year's Olympia. So Matt Jensen has been under a lot of criticism in the recent past few days, especially in reference to Nick Walker dropping out of this year's Olympia. He puts out a great caption looking at his one and only client at this year's Olympia, the giant killer, Shaun. So you guys can disagree with the poster for the men's open bodybuilding where Hadi and Derek are portrayed as number 1 and number 2. But in the 212, it is already written on the wall that the only person in this lineup who can actually beat Keone or who can give Keone a serious run for his money, that is only Shaun. So coming back to Keone, as he gets drier, his conditioning has started to get even more nasty. And I have to say that is the thing. The back shot that we saw yesterday, that wasn't even close to what Keone is gonna look like once he is all carved up and his muscles are gonna be bursting full. Especially after he goes through that carbs loading protocol. His muscles are gonna come back to life and they're gonna be bursting through his skin. So what an unbelievable year this has been for Keone so far, where everyone has a firm belief that he will be a 2 times Olympia champion in 4 days time. But that being said, do not think for a second that Shaun and his camp, they are showing up to play second here. And we have to keep in mind, Shaun's story has been so inspirational because this is a guy who was told that he is never gonna turn pro. And just take a look at his accomplishments. He is a 2 times Olympia champion, and that too against all the odds. Now he is up against a shape monster who was also destined to be a great champion. The question is, can Shaun get any better than his Olympia 2022 look? Because he got no feedback after winning the Olympia that year from the judges. And all that was said was just keep bringing that same package. And the feedback after last year's Miss Olympia was the same. To go back to his Olympia 2022 look. Can someone get any drier than Michael Daboul at 3 days out? So how is Michael Daboul so consistent when it comes to getting shredded in every damn show that he enters? And we have to keep in mind, he just switched his coaches this year. So instead of Patrick Tour, he went with Ahmad Asghar, the guy who was the trainer of Rolly Winkler from Oxygen Gym Kuwait. And Michael is already in his trademark bone dry and straight kinda look. And the man is looking freaky big as well. So Michael Daboul has been moving up that Olympia ladder since 2022. And he went all the way till top 6 at last year's Miss Olympia. And he would obviously like to crack at least top 5 this year. Now in order to do that, he will have to beat at least one guy whom he has never beaten before. Actually, I stand corrected. He has beaten Wesley Weezers multiple times in the past. But Wesley, we all know, is now a monster. And judging from their last matchup, in Ohio and in UK as well, it did not even look close between Michael Daboul and Wesley. So I have firm belief that Michael Daboul can be the most winning classic physique pro in a few more years. He just won 2 pro shows this past month. which got him to a total of 8 pro wins. So correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Only Terrasufin has more classic wins than Michael Daboul. So Michael is all ready to make some good guys in classic physique who have some decent looking conditioning look all soft and watery when they stand next to him at this year's Olympia stage.
Absolutely, you need to be able to hit an abs and thigh. I don't agree the vacuum counts. Because why are we changing? Why are we changing history of a pose?
Yeah.
So very interesting discussion on the latest episode of Cutler's Cast regarding the vacuum in the men's open bodybuilding. And just because you're winning Miss Olympia, Derek Linsfeld likes to hit that vacuum in the abs and thigh pose. I think this has to be covered. All the 3 legends of the sport, Jay Cutler, Chris Cormier and Milos, they all agreed that the vacuums in that abs and thigh shot, that should not be counted. Now the way Hadi did it at this year's Arnold, that was a bit different because he was doing that transition from the vacuum into the crunch down position to showcase his deep separated abs. But if you guys can remember, Derek actually got a lot of heat last year because we saw most of the times he was only doing the vacuum. Now obviously that was his strategy, and I have to say a good one at that, to hide his weakness because he was standing next to Hadi, who has the most perfect looking abs. So deep, so chiseled, so separated. But Derek did lose that shot, as confirmed by Tyler Mannion.
It's not the vacuum in thigh. It's
Maybe,
thigh.
see, Classic
It's a
has
ribbon tie.
Classic has warped perception, I believe, in going into the open category.
So will Derek do the proper abs and thigh pose? Now that he will most probably have 2 guys, not only just Hadi, but Andrew Jack as well. The 2 guys with the best abs in the business, pushing him in that first call out. So I do not think Derek will be worried about this pose a lot, because that's just one pose, and he has got plenty of other great shots, great poses, the poses that really go in his favor, the shots that allowed him to win the Olympia last year. So with that being said, vacuum or no vacuum, do let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Next up, we have a 3 days out physique update from Jewett, another former 212 guy who successfully transitioned into the men's open bodybuilding and who is gonna be making his Olympia debut in 4 days. So Jewett was ready to step on stage at 4 weeks out of the Olympia. So he is obviously expected to look this good with 4 more days to go. While most of these guys, they have said publicly on where they see themselves placing at this year's Olympia. Specifically those guys who are making their Olympia debuts as well, like Martin Fitzwater, he wants top 6, Muhammad Fadal and Bruno Santos, they want top 10. Now John on the other hand, he just wanna show up at his all-time best and let the chips fall where they may. So this is the Olympia where the best of the best, they go up against each other. And I have no reason to doubt that John is gonna be one of the most conditioned and one of the most shredded guy at this year's Olympia stage. Possibly one of the most perfectly peaked guy in 4 days time. Now he for sure is gonna lose some ground in the size department. Still, I have to say what a great year he has had so far. Went up in size in less than 12 months. And all of that was quality muscle. And the man still has a super tiny waist. And he can also pull a vacuum. So let's see how John compares to those guys in the second call out. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.